Welcome, everyone. Usually on Tuesday, what we're sharing here is I'm not sure. Not much. So what we usually do is we are finding a place of peace, a place of contentment with just what is happening. But tonight I would like to do something different. Tonight I would like to share with you two meditations from the Tibetan tradition, which are one of the meditation to cultivate the ground for opening your heart or for compassion. And for that, these two kinds of meditation, they belong to a different class of meditation. So usually on Tuesday, what we're doing, we're working with what is happening. And we're finding a different relationship to what is happening. But tonight I would like to use another capacity we have, and that is our imagination and our reasoning. So in this kind of meditation, you use your imagination or you use reasoning to remove some of the knots or some of the blockages you have. Knots or blockages which separate you from the natural warmth, from the natural kindness of your being. So knots and blockages which are projections you put upon others and which disconnect you from them. So we will use two meditations, and the first one I will guide you into is called connecting with the common ground, connecting with common humanity, connecting with the place or connecting with that dimension which we all share. Because one way to disconnect from another person is to have a story like, for example, oh, this person is 30 years older than me, so I can't really connect with that person. Or this person comes from another culture, so I can't really connect with that person. Or this person has a different color, a different political view, so I can't really connect with that person. Or this person is a woman, so I can't really connect with that person. This person is old or is a child, so I can't really connect with children. And that is a projection, like a story we put upon others. This is a stranger, so I don't care. This is a friend. It's incredibly important, this person. And this is a person I don't like. And these are projections we put people into these different categories, and then we're relating through these categories to people. So in this meditation, which prepares the ground for us to reconnect with the warmth and kindness, which we are all able to. We are all able to connect with each other. We are all able to meet each other beyond our fears, beyond our projections. So there's a kind of veil we create through our stories. So in this meditation, I will invite you to, by using a different story, by using your imagination, to see what happens if you look through that projection, and what happens if you allow yourself to reconnect with your natural capacity to know other people, even if you don't know their name, even if you don't know how much money they earn, even if you don't know all the stuff which we think we need to know someone, so that we can put them into a box. Okay, this is a student of this and that and this background, so now I feel safe, now I know this person. Yeah, so in this meditation on the common ground, on the common humanity, we touch each other on a level where you can touch any human being on this planet. An Aborigine in Australia, a child in China, the director of a bank in New York. They have something in common, something important. So in this kind of meditation, it's obvious you kind of create something. So it's different than, looking into the present moment and being with that. So it's a different kind of meditation. And the way you work with this kind of meditation is that you use your imagination and you use reasonings until you have a response, until you feel, something is happening, or this is touching me, this is moving me, something is opening, there's a relief, or there's something. And that might not happen, that's fine also, but in the moment if that happens, you would pause and you would just stay in that openness. So you would breathe into it, you would just hold that. And then of course it disappears because our mind is not stable. So, and if that happens, then you would go back to the imagination, through the reasoning. And you would, through the reasoning and through your imagination, you would again come to that place where something happens on the body level. So, and in that way, you kind of bring the imagination, you bring the reasoning into your body, into your being. You actually change the structure of your brain, and with that you change the structure of your whole system, of your whole body nervous system. So, and then if you do that for a while, so you do it every day, you repeat that kind of meditation, and slowly you start to notice, wow, I'm starting to see people differently. I'm suddenly going into a shop, and the person who's handing out the food or whatever suddenly is seen from my side as a human being, not as just someone who is supposed to serve me and do it quick and is there for me, but as a human being. And that makes a difference for you, particularly for you, but also, of course, for the person who is working there. If we treat each other as human beings and not as kind of machines, or like just people who are supposed to do their job and not more. So that's how, by creating a habit of openness in your meditation, very naturally you bring that into your daily life. It just happens naturally. And then someday in the future, we will be like the Dalai Lama, who is going everywhere and is touching people very deeply, because he sees them as human on the same level. If he does not feel, oh, this is a Chinese, so I can't connect with that person, or we all have that capacity. So the second meditation after the break, I will just say a few words about that, is the meditation about the care and kindness we have received in our life from others. So it's a meditation where I will invite you to look into your life, like kind of scan your life back to your childhood and become aware of the kindness you have received, of the support you have received in this life, of what you have learned from others, how they took care of you, how they helped you. So your teachers, other people, family, friends, and so on. So all the people, just people on the street who were kind to you. So this is a meditation. Again, it deconstructs this veil we might have of I'm alone and nobody likes me and I have to do everything on my own, and that might be a veil we put upon our life, and we don't see, or we tend not to see, how much we have been taken care of in our life. Without that, we wouldn't be here tonight. This moment depends completely on the kindness of others. This place, this very moment. So that's the second meditation. And then we leave some time for questions or discussion. Okay, so let's start. Now we start. Usually we don't start, but in this meditation you start, because it's something you like. You sit down and you know what you're going to do if you do this kind of meditation, and then you do it. So the same as in the meditation where you cultivate presence, we take some time to just shift from the busyness of the day. So I invite you to adjust your posture so that you sit gentle but also alert. And if you like, you can close your eyes. And there's a sense of shifting gear from the busyness of the day, trying to do things, trying to get somewhere. So there's a kind of shifting gear. And you start to notice your body. So you allow your awareness to go down into your feet, your legs. You notice how the floor carries you. And you notice the root of your body. And then the breath can help you to pay attention to the root of your body by imagine to breathe in into the root of your body, into your pelvis, perineum, into the hip area. And it's kind of sliding into being here, just allowing that to happen, settling, welcoming yourself. And of course, there's thoughts, and maybe you're restless or you're tired. And let that be okay. Let that be fine. So you don't need to try to calm down or feel differently. You're really welcome here, just as you are. You're welcome here, just as you are. And then during the meditation, when you feel there's pain, then you're very welcome to move mindfully, shift position. So allow yourself to slide into a place without pressure. And right now there's nothing to think about. There's nothing to defend. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. So you can just relax and emphasize the breath and the sensations in your body. And let the thoughts somewhat in the background, like clouds passing. And then I invite you to include into your awareness the presence of the people who just sit close to you. So the people who sit on your side and behind you or in front of you. So just become aware that there's other people. So you stay with your body, but you also kind of expand your awareness to the presence of the people around you. So this person in front of you or behind you is a human being just like you. A human being with feelings just like you. So just sense into these words. And just like you, exactly just like you, this person wants to be loved. Just like you, he or she has this longing to be loved and to be accepted for who she is. And just in the same way as it matters to you, it matters to this person how you look at her, how you talk to her, how you treat her, how you relate to her. It matters to this person. In the same way, it matters to you, how other people look at you, how they treat you, how they talk to you. So the person in front of you, behind you, on your side, is a human being, just like you, with feelings, just like you. And she wants to be happy, just like you. So if you connect with your own longing to be happy, and then you expand that, she's just like me. So just experience what happens with these words, with this imagination. You don't need to force anything, just be curious. So the person sitting in front of you, she has been wounded, just like you. She has been hurt. She experienced rejection, and she was not welcomed completely as she deserved to be as a child, just like you. And just like you, she carries the scars of life in her face, in her body. And you can see it. Just other people can see it in your face, in your body. So the person behind you and on your side and in front of you, they are human beings just like you, with feelings, with wounds, with scars, just like you. And just like you, they feel insecure sometimes and vulnerable. And they know loss, they know despair, they know confusion, just like you. And the person in front of you, he or she also knows love and laughter and friendship and warmth, just like you. So even if you don't know what this person does, you don't know the name, there is a level where you can meet. There's a level where you can recognize this person deeply. as if you have known this person always. Just like you, the person in front of you holds back, is afraid, wants to be authentic, and often carries a mask, just like you. So the people which you can sense sitting around you, they are human beings with feelings, just like you. The people around you are human beings with feelings, and just like you, they will die. Just like you, they will die. The way you relate to them, the way you feel towards them, the way you see them matters to them, just as it matters to you. From meeting on that common ground, from heart to heart, beyond our fears. Maybe you can naturally connect with a wish for well-being. You might want to imagine that your heart opens like a flower, like in the chest area, a soft spot in your heart. And holding the people around you in awareness to wish them well. May you be happy. May you feel safe. May you accept yourself as you are. May you realize how beautiful you are. May you feel safe. May you feel whole. May you be healed. May you be healed. May you come home. May you come home. May you be in peace. Just now, may you be in peace. Right now, may you be in peace. And then just resting together in the heart space where we can meet. Giving and receiving. Resting. Breathing. Resting in compassionate presence. And then when you notice that you get carried away by an inner dialogue, you return to the breath, to your heart, and maybe to a simple loving for kindness phrase. May you be happy. May you feel safe. Then letting go of all words. Just resting in openness. This meditation, I think, is one of the meditations where, when I share it with people and they do it for a while, where I notice, or where they notice, like really the quickest, like, difference. Like, it's a meditation. If you do it for a while and you bring it into daily life, it's really quite quickly make a real difference in your life, or can make a real difference in your life. And it's a meditation which is quite easy to bring into daily life. So because it's like, no, so you go into a shop, you stand in a queue. It's a good meditation to do when you travel, like when you sit in a train or you sit in a plane. And if you have done it kind of in a formal way a few times, then it's possible to quickly go into that connection by just saying human being with feelings, just like me. That's a mini meditation. It's really short, but it can make a difference in the way you look at someone. It makes a difference when you sit in a plane, for example, and you pause for a moment and say, oh, here we are, a human being with feelings, just like me. And the way I sit there, even if there's no talking, it makes a difference to that person. Your attitude towards that person, even if there's no talking, makes a difference to that person. The energy, like kind of your vibration towards that person, makes a difference. Like if you work in an office where you have a lot of phone contacts, so when your phone rings, or whatever sound it makes, one thing is sure. One thing is really sure. There's a human being. And this human being has feelings. Just like you. And the way you respond to that person, or the way you the amount of openness or the amount of presence makes a difference to that person. You can make the day for this person in a negative way by being harsh and So it's like it's not only the mindfulness practice of when the phone rings, you take a breath and you're present. So it's kind of the addition of making it relational, making your mindful practice relational. And it's good for sales as well. So it's the best training for sales. That's why this meditation will spread. Now mindfulness is spreading, like focus and that stuff. It's also good. But what's coming now, after the mindfulness wave, there will be the kindness wave. but genuine kindness. So it does not work if you fake it. People know that. If you fake it, people notice that. You can be like, have the smile, and it's creepy. And people are not stupid, just like you are not stupid. If someone wants to fool you by being kind, we are social beings. We feel that, we notice that. You can't fake kindness. I mean, of course, you can sometimes fool some people, but most people you can't fool. So it needs to come from here, and it can come from here because it's there. It's nothing you need to create. You're born with it. It's the only thing which makes you really happy. It could be that's why you're here. Like the mission, the mission statement for your life. Be as kind as possible. Be as loving as possible, whatever arises inside of you, outside of you. I had a powerful experience just recently with this meditation, and 2 weeks ago I was in Riga, and I gave a workshop in the major bank in Riga to the leaders, like 80 leaders from that bank, and it was in the company. It was this huge temple, the temples of our times, the banks, like one of the biggest buildings, and I felt so small and so insignificant and so stupid. And I thought, wow. And so I was sitting there waiting for the people to come, and they were really on time. So when they came all in, and and when they slowly came in, and before I had done this meditation, and when they came in, I really thought they are human beings, just like me. And they make more money, and they wear different clothes, and maybe they have slightly different values, but they know about kindness. They know about warmth. They want to be loved just like me. They hide it better. And they might say, when you ask them, yeah, I'm doing this work because I want to make money, but that's actually not true. If you kind of talk in smaller groups with them, then you find out they actually are there for something else. They are looking for something else. They want to make a difference. Most people don't go for work to make money. They maybe lose it at one point, that there's something else, but you can always reconnect with that. So what happened then, when they came in, instead of becoming more and more afraid, I became more and more happy, because they were all human beings, not only the first 10, all of them. And somehow I could see that. And usually, like when I'm in environments, when I teach in environments where I have these projections going, then I feel like it can make me feel very afraid or very stupid, but it didn't happen there. So this was probably my most challenging environment so far. And then what happened before that talk, the people who have organized it, they told me, you can't mention Buddhism, you can't mention meditation, and you can't mention compassion. Yeah, and so what I did, I used slides, and so I replaced the words. And I I used words from Daniel Goleman, emotional intelligence, who is into leadership training since a few years. So he wrote a few books about the importance of emotional intelligence for leaders. And he has, for kindness or compassion, he uses social awareness. So on the power, I went through the PowerPoint presentation and replaced compassion and kindness and all these soft skills. I replaced with there's other words Daniel Goleman uses for traditional Buddhist words, so social awareness. But then after everyone sat and I started to talk, I realized, no, they know kindness and they are aware of how good kindness is for them. And so, I said, well, I told them what I just did. Yeah? So I told them I just replaced kindness with social awareness. And then so a lot of that workshop was about how self-awareness. So that's what I share a lot here on Tuesdays, like the self-awareness, getting to know yourself, getting to know your feelings, getting to know your mind, how that is the ground for social awareness. So that's how you can link the mindfulness practice with your emotions, with the sensations in your body, with social skills, with emotional intelligence. So that was for me a moment, this moment when the people came in and I recognized them as human beings. That was really, one of those moments where I feel, wow, it's really worth to work with these meditations. They make a difference. So I have this meditation also on SoundCloud. So if you want to work with it for a while, and then what is really interesting to experiment with it in daily life. When you stand somewhere, when you wait, when you travel, and it can be sometimes. Usually people don't say this, but because we try to sell meditation, but it can be quite overwhelming. So there's kind of side effects also of meditation and mindfulness practice. So sometimes it can be quite destabilizing for a while also. Because in this meditation, it's like, wow, there's no strangers. And this can be quite, wow. This kind of just ignoring 99.99999% of the people because we think they are strangers. So if that starts to, dissolve this projection, then it's like, it can be sometimes quite overwhelming. Wow. It's like, it's also a responsibility you have because you start to realize that your mood affects the people around you. So then the urgency of working with your feelings, being with your feelings and cultivating kindness for yourself becomes bigger because you start to see, wow, I have to cultivate peace with myself if I want to be a peace bringer, a peacemaker. So when you sit in a train and you suddenly realize, wow, they are not strangers. People are not strangers. Okay, so this is a very traditional meditation from the Tibetan tradition. It's part of the training for what is called bodhicitta, the awakened heart. And then after the break, I will lead one of the other meditations from that lineage, from that tradition, to awaken your heart, to cultivate bodhicitta. And we have a break now to get some fresh air and to have a tea and so on. Let's have a break for 15 minutes, and then I will lead that meditation. Is the window open yet? Oh, it's okay. Do you want to close the window? Isn't it too cold? So let's again just take some minutes to check in. Just shifting from the energy of the break to gravitating with your awareness into the root of your body, your belly, and just feeling and being with your own energy. And we can appreciate the soft stillness which arises when we sit quietly together in this place, protected by the teachings of the Buddha. So even if your mind is agitated or there's some restless energy, the stillness is also happening. Can be quite beautiful to just having the permission to do nothing, softening and opening. gravitating towards the trunk of your body with your awareness, staying connected with your energy. And then I invite you to go back in your life, to scan your life back into childhood, starting in childhood. And just to allow some of the people from childhood to appear who were kind to you, who took care of you. And we are not looking for perfect people, just normal people who had been taking care of you, who were kind to you. And you imagine them to be there in front of you. You invite them to be here. And you don't need to have a clear mental image, just let some of them appear. Family, parents maybe, if you want that, brothers and sisters, friends of the family, neighbors, an uncle, an aunt. And whatever these people gave you, it translates as a smile. So you have these smiling people. They look at you with loving eyes, as they sometimes did when you were a child. And see if you can be there for their presence with your whole body. And spontaneously let some people appear without thinking too much. And then you add your friends, so starting from childhood, kindergarten, school, and some of them you remember, some of them maybe you don't remember so much, but just add the friends you have had for short time, for a long time. Maybe some of them many, many years. Maybe you still have friends from childhood. Some of them only months, up to today. So all the people. And you remember some of the good times you have had, the support, the joy together. So just add those friends. And again, it's more spontaneously you let appear some people. And their friendship translates as a smile and a kindness in their eyes looking at you. And allow yourself to feel that kindness with your belly and your heart. See their eyes. And if your mind wanders, then come back to the body, to the breath. You don't need to hold the visualization the whole time. So can be movement there and change. Friends. Feel the warmth, the friendship. And then the next group of people we add is the teachers we have had in life. So that's starting with kindergarten. Maybe you remember even someone from kindergarten. But also your favorite teachers at school. And people who trained you in your job, in your education, at university, in your hobbies. So actually, everything you know, you have learned from others. We pretend it's our own, but we have learned from others our whole life. So just let some of your teachers appear there. And whatever they taught you, you translate as that kindness and the smile looking upon you with kindness in their eyes. And you feel the gift of the teachings as a kind of radiance. So most of the skills you have learned from others. Maybe you can even add those people who wrote books or videos you watched on YouTube to learn something. Colleagues at work who taught you to do things, how to do things. We had to learn everything. We even didn't know how to go to toilet. Or put on clothes. Someone had to teach us. How to speak. Someone had to teach us. So you have your family, and then you have your friends, and then you have your teachers, and then we add all the spiritual teachers. And here, not only those who you have met, but also books, videos. It could be quite a lot of people for some of us. You can maybe also add your therapists or psychologists or artists, which were inspiring for you, musicians. And so just let a few of them appear. It's too many to actually keep them all in mind, but just let some of them appear and have a general sense of the amount of people. And their kindness and what they taught to you translates as this radiance and the kindness in their eyes, their smile. And you can feel it from the toes to the top of your head. It's like bathing spiritual teachers, yoga teachers, meditation teachers, masters. Maybe you want to put even the Buddha and Jesus there. And then the next group of people is even bigger, and that's all the strangers who have been kind to you from the first day where the midwife helped throughout every day, to people just being considerate, being kind, day by day, smiling, opening doors. And if you kind of scan your life day by day, maybe there's some experience of exceptional kindness of strangers when you were traveling, when you were lost, or people helping you out. And certainly, if you had an accident ever in your life, strangers helped you. So just to get a general sense of the, I don't dare to say the number, but it's a big crowd by now. They're in front of you, with your family and your friends and your teachers, and any stranger who ever did something kind, smiled, helped you, brought you food in a restaurant, took care of you in the hospital. And this care and kindness is like a radiance bathing your whole body. And then the last group is the biggest one we had, and this is all the people who have contributed to your life, but you have not even met them, you have not seen them, you have not met them directly. And that's the people who made the food you ate, who made the clothes you wear right now, the people who built this house a few hundred years ago, the people who made the roads and the houses you use, the people who built the school where you got their training. So from the first day of this birth and even before, in the room of your mother, you depended on others day by day until today. Everything you have, everything you know, everything you are, you receive from others. So there's the family and friends and your teachers and strangers you have met. But then there's also this vast group of people who contributed to your life. And you translate that as that care, that radiance of care. Like imagining them to look upon you with loving eyes, with kind eyes. Your whole body, from the toes to the top of your head. So from your first day of this life until today, you have been taken care of, like being showered by the care of the universe through the people, through people. And then you gently let go of the imagination, but allow yourself to rest in the radiance coming from all sides, from the back, from the sides, from the front. And getting a sense of the care. How you were nourished, and how are you nourished right now. You can relax. Just resting. With the whole body. So these two meditations are two major meditations in the tradition of cultivating bodhicitta. And of course, the ground is really to befriend your own energy and cultivate self-compassion and cultivate your capacity to nurture your capacity to be at ease with who you are and what you feel. So that's really that's not so much emphasized in the Tibetan tradition because it's like a Western sickness, mental sickness, to have lost the connection with the goodness in us, the purity, and with what is called in the tradition Buddha nature. So it's important for us to work also on healing that wound of feeling disconnected from your worthiness and from your beauty and from your wisdom. And then, so based on the ground of being more at ease with yourself, self-compassion, self-acceptance, then traditionally one would work with this meditation of connecting with the common ground. So that would be the next step. So part of the common ground, of course, is what we all share is that we all have Buddha nature. We all have this fundamental warmth and kindness and freedom. And we all have this fundamental unconscious intelligence. Everyone has, even a dog, from the Buddhist point of view. And more you're in contact with that in yourself, more you also see it in others. So that's a part of the common ground. But if you want to connect with that in others, you first need to connect with that in yourself. And not theoretically, like, yeah, everyone has Buddha nature, but as an experience, as a taste. The challenge of getting to know yourself is that when you get to know yourself, you also need to embrace what you don't like, and you need to embrace what's difficult. You need to learn to be with the things you prefer to see in others. And then, so the common ground, and then from there, the meditation on reflecting on the kindness of others. traditionally, this is particularly done with the kindness of the mother. But since most of us, probably some of us, need to do some more work in the relationship to our mother, so that's why it could be helpful to kind of look at your friends and other people instead of the mother. But traditionally, you would remember the kindness of the mother, and then from the Buddhist point of view, you would go into past lives. So you would acknowledge it's not only in this life that a mother took care of me. In all my lives, a mother took care of me. And since from the Buddhist point of view, you have had beginningless lives, so since beginningless time, so that means the amount of mothers is beginningless. So that means everyone you meet has been your mother at one point. So I'm not trying to convince you of that. It's just, like the way traditionally it's done. So then you kind of cultivate that sense of, wow, mother. And of course, maybe you can feel already that might be difficult for some people. Oh, mother, oh shit. Another mother. Yeah. So then, if you're open to this meditation, and it's of course obvious that some meditation are helpful for you, some not. So you have to find your own path in this. So if you would open to that kindness and care, what at one point arises from that is how do you want to respond to that? So how do you want to respond to that? Yeah. And that is supposed to trigger in you this longing to develop, like to use your life to develop your capacity to love. Because it's kind of, okay, how do I respond to this? I don't want to add to the violence in this world. I don't want to add to the violence in my relationships. So it's like if this meditation might help us to strengthen that longing for working on your inner life, because that's where the violence comes from. You add to your relationships. So that's it can spark your motivation. I want to stop to add to the violence, and that's why I'm going to use any methods of inner development to cultivate that capacity, to be of help instead of being a nuisance. Yes, so time is almost up, and it might have been good to have another hour to just share how it was, but maybe you can on the way home, if you are not going alone, to share with someone how it was. So what I want to encourage you is, whatever you experience, that's okay. That was your experience. So it's not, we are not doing this meditations to kind of force a certain outcome, but you follow this meditation, And then you are curious about, oh, this is how it makes me feel. This is what is happening. It makes me really angry. It makes me really angry. I'm completely annoyed by this loving kindness meditation. Yeah, so that's your experience. Wow. Yeah, so that's your experience. Or you get bored, shit, it's so boring. Why should I listen to this? Yeah, so that's your experience. So then you apply the practice of, being here and allowing whatever, seeing whatever arises in you as part of the practice. That's what is. That's how you feel. Nothing is wrong. You're not supposed to feel in a certain way in this kind of meditation. You do it, and then you allow that to arise, what arises. Maybe you feel lonely after a meditation like that. Maybe you feel a longing, and maybe you realize, wow, I didn't get so much in childhood from this. So then there might be sadness after this meditation, like a sadness. Yeah. And that's an insight. So how can you be with that sadness without pushing it away, without making you wrong for feeling like you feel? That's more important than having a certain result in that meditation. It's more important to then allow you to feel what you feel and not making it wrong. We are not like machines. You do this meditation and you have this result. It does not work like that. So both of these meditations I have recorded on SoundCloud if you want to do it again. So you can play with it. It's this kind of meditation using imagination is like an art, like the other meditations. So it's something we need to kind of experiment and try and find our own way in it. So one thing is sometimes when people guide these meditations, they say visualization. So you visualize. And I'm using imagination, to imagine. And I make this difference because when I say imagine, I invite you to use all senses. So the body, maybe you hear the people, you hear the voices, the smell, like it's a 3D, not only a 3D experience, it's like like it involves your whole being. Whereas when people visualize, it becomes easy, like you have this mental picture and you focus on that. But that's actually not so important. It's not so important to have a visualization. It's more important that you experience something. It makes you feel something. So when you do this kind of visualizations, they are sometimes called visualizations. They don't mean that you use your eye consciousness, like it's something you see. That's not what is meant here. It's not just focusing on the mental image. It's having so that's why I use the word imagination, because when you imagine something, your whole senses can be involved, and that is from the the studies on how you can change your brain and your habits. That's how you change habits in your brain, if you are involved with your whole body, with your emotions. That's where you really change a habit of, for example, being very negative towards yourself. It's not enough to just think differently. Okay. So at the end, the advertising. the advertising is that this weekend we have a Tibetan teacher coming, Geshe Sherab. And I've met Geshe Sherab a few times, also back in Kopan and Nepal, when I spent there some time. And he's really a teacher I can really deeply recommend. So he's very well trained, of course. The Geshe is a title. It's like the highest academic title you can receive in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. So Geshe Sherab must have spent about 25 years of intensive study and training in the monastery in south of India. And what is really great with Geshe Sherab is because he grew up in Kopan Monastery. So right from the beginning, during his childhood and boyhood, he was in contact with Westerners because there's always Westerners in that monastery. So his English is really excellent, and he understands where we come from and how our mind works, and that's sometimes a deficit in the traditional Tibetan teachers when they have been trained and grow up kind of disconnected from our world. Yeah, and many of them have been trained like that. And so Geshe Sherab has been teaching since many years in the West. He lived in the United States for a few years, and so he teaches in English. That's also good. There's no translation, so and he is really a wonderful, kind, and warm person who, but also so a very good practitioner, but also a fantastic scholar. So it's a bit, it's really an opportunity to meet a master, someone who is trained traditionally in the Tibetan tradition. So on Friday, he will teach on the importance on the relationship to a teacher. So that's in the Tibetan tradition an important topic. You know, how to cultivate a healthy relationship to a teacher. How to do that. And then on Saturday, he will talk on bodhicitta, the awakened heart. And on Sunday, he will teach on wisdom, so the wisdom of emptiness or the wisdom of selflessness. So you're very welcome to just check in on Friday or just come on Saturday or on Sunday. So you don't need to come for the whole thing. It's like, it kind of builds up upon each other, but it's definitely valuable if you just have a morning or an afternoon during the weekend. So then you just come and you just check it out. He will also lead the mindfulness meditation on next Tuesday, next week. So he will be still around. So. Yes. And then the last thing, as a reminder, we completely rely on your donations. And so if you think this place is worthwhile to survive for others, even if you don't want to come back, then you can make a donation, like people last year gave the donation so that you can be here today. But if you want to come back, then for sure you need to make a donation, just to make sure that the place continues. So we don't have any background organization. We have a background organization, but there's no money coming from there. So we are completely on our own. And we are struggling to cover just the rent every month. So we are running on minus. And then we can sometimes cover it up again through some big events where like a more famous teacher comes. But like to cover the the running costs every month, that would be wonderful if you could do that by people just giving. And the reason why we make it as a donation is to cultivate a habit which is difficult in Denmark, a habit of not paying or thinking other people pay for this, but a habit of creating positive energy by being generous and giving your money to something which you think is worth to be supported. So that's it's a part of Buddhist practice to practice generosity. Why? Because it makes you happy. That's why. And yeah, and also it's very important that that people who don't have money that they can come to a place like this, because I mean the practice of mindfulness, those people who are in a crisis, they are the ones who most benefit from it, but they wouldn't be able to afford like a super expensive training with people who make money with mindfulness. So by giving a donation, you also open this place for people who really don't have the money to give 100 kroner, because they are in a difficult place in their life. And so the same is true for the weekend teachings and things like this. So we offer all these teachings for people who don't have the money to give 50 or 100 krona or something like that. So that's also an idea behind this. I'm not giving this talk every time, so don't be afraid. And it's of course a bit difficult to say this, and it's maybe unpleasant, but I think sometimes I just need to do it because I personally want this place to continue and to exist. Okay, thank you very much. And see you again, maybe. And so next week I'm not here, but then in 2 weeks I will be back on Tuesday. Be well.
Likewise.